And thank you for joining us right here on CBS 8. I'm Heather Myers. Here at CBS 8, we are working for you. We're getting to the bottom of problems you've asked about, and we are looking for solutions. We begin in Bonita, where documents with social security numbers and other personal information were left in an open dumpster where anyone could find them. The files belonged to a local attorney, so how did they end up in the trash? CBS 8's Steve Price is working for you and followed the paper trail.
An attorney says he hired a professional moving company to properly dispose of documents from his old office. But dozens of files ended up in these dumpsters here in Bonita, and inside, papers with a lot of personal information that someone could easily use for identity theft.
This is crazy.
Greg spotted the documents while making his rounds at a shopping center he helps maintain.
Right away, I seen social security numbers, names, addresses, titles to their deeds to their house. And I'm like, what the hell?
He noticed one name popping up a lot. Speckman Law Firm, their slogan, your financial lifeguard.
If they're your financial lifeguard, I think you just drowned.
We found a lawyer named David L. Speckman here in San Diego, and he confirmed the documents were his.
I sold my home, and I'm downsizing and leaving the state.
He agreed to let us record his voice, but not his face. He says he retired a couple of years ago and hired 365 days labor movers to shred the documents. They picked them up on Monday. Greg found them here Tuesday. Speckman says he called the owner, who apologized.
She wasn't aware of the situation. It was employees of hers that had done something that, was probably against her instructions. So she was surprised and said she would take care of it.
The dumpsters are behind another business owned by that same woman. And while we were getting video of them today, one of her employees came out.
No, don't touch.
Don't touch.
Okay.
After pushing our camera multiple times, he walked away. I later talked with the owner, who said she was trying to get all the files back so she could make sure they're properly disposed of. In the meantime, Speckman, who also had some of his personal information exposed, says the files contain information on about a dozen former clients, and he's already notified them.
I'm aware of who was affected, and those are the ones that I've contacted and will continue to contact and monitor the situation to make sure nothing happens, and myself included.
It's not clear if any of the files went missing, but Greg moved the ones he found to a secure location. Late this afternoon, he turned them over to the moving company, which promises this time to dispose of them correctly.
Literally 5 minutes after I took these files out and put them in these boxes, literally 5 minutes later, there was a tweaker going through this trash can.
In Bonita, Steve Price, CBS 8.
So many of you might be wondering how to protect your personal information even after you hand it over to people or companies you trust. We found some helpful steps that you can take, and you can find that story on CBS8.com. Just click on this story. Tonight, there are growing concerns over the use of powerful sedatives being used during difficult arrests. CBS 8 has learned that some of the people who were sedated while being restrained and taken into custody here in San Diego ended up dying while in custody. It's a situation repeating around the country. CBS 8's Shannon Handy explains.
The Associated Press found hospital-grade sedatives were used in 10% of deaths nationwide. In San Diego County, we found sedatives in nearly 40% of in-custody deaths dating back to 2013. A warning to our viewers, you may find some of the video in this story disturbing.
Just relax. Yeah, we're here to help you, dude.
CBS 8 obtained this body cam video from May of 2020. It shows 32-year-old Wesley Garrett Henry flailing on the ground after getting handcuffed by San Diego police. Garrett Henry's neighbors say that after years of sobriety, he fell off the wagon and used meth. His neighbors called 911 for help. The first part of the video shows officers restrain Garrett Henry. Then a paramedic rushes in and gives him a shot of midazolam, a sedative used to calm patients before surgery, but also one used to control police subjects. Garrett Henry became limp. His heart stopped beating less than 10 minutes later.
Put your hands down the back.
In May of 2017, 54-year-old Mark Atkins was high on meth. San Diego Sheriff's deputies struggled to restrain him. Medics injected him with a sedative. 13 minutes later, he was dead. Medical examiners did not connect the use of sedatives to either death. According to an Associated Press investigation, that connection has yet to be studied, leading to growing concern among experts who say it should be. In an off-camera interview with CBS 8, civil rights attorney Tim Scott of San Diego-based national law firm Mackenzie Scott, who has represented several families whose loved ones were given sedatives during violent clashes with police, said the use of sedatives without permission is another way of using force during police altercations, adding, quote, "It's the same problem with hog tying or any other use of force. While it might make some officers feel safer, the truth is people are dying preventable deaths in custody." Scott, who currently represents Adrian Rios, an Azusa man who was administered midazolam during a psychotic break and is now in a vegetative state, says he and his firm see more cases where sedatives contributed to in-custody police deaths or injuries. We reached out to Falk, the company that provides EMS services in San Diego County. A spokesperson said Falk follows the treatment policies contained in the EMS protocols issued by San Diego County EMS. Note that midazolam, or Versed, is also used to control seizures and to pre-medicate patients prior to synchronized cardioversion or the use of an external pacemaker. We also reached out to the county to ask if there's any discussion around changing those protocols, but have not heard back. Shanna Handy, CBS 8.
If you are driving near downtown San Diego, you may notice a growing encampment with dozens of bikes that needs to be cleaned up. Residents have taken action to try to get it cleaned, but with no luck, so we started digging into the issue. The encampment is in Sherman Heights, just off the 5 and the Island Avenue Bridge. We spoke with people who live in the area. They say the people who are in this encampment are targeting their homes.
They've actually been breaking into the units here at Pinnacle, Aspire. They break in, they steal people's stuff, and they go over there, whether it's scooters, whether it's equipment, whether it's bikes, they've been stealing stuff nonstop. It's constantly. And then you just see them over there.
CBS 8's Jasmine Ramirez contacted San Diego Police Thursday, and they told her that we needed a specific case number or it might fall under CHP jurisdiction. So we contacted the California Highway Patrol. So far, no response. Well, then we reached out to Council Member Stephen Whitburn's office. He represents this area. They tell me they're in contact with Caltrans to see if they can do something about it. When we get updates on the progress in this area, we will bring it to you. One of the top stories this past week is the pro-Palestinian protests and arrests at UC San Diego. 64 people were arrested, 40 of them students, according to the school. This week, we obtained details on the criminal charges they're facing. CBS 8's David Gonferson is working for you and spoke with a legal expert about what happens next for these protesters.
More than 60 protesters arrested at UC San Diego. 2/3 of them students are facing a short list of misdemeanor charges, according to jail records obtained by CBS 8. 60 protesters are facing unlawful assembly charges, 39 arrested for unauthorized encroachment on public land, 34 jailed on resisting arrest charges, 17 for violating UC San Diego curfew laws, and 4 for camping on university property. The Sheriff's Department says the protesters were booked and released from jail, and some are facing a combination of 3 or 4 of those misdemeanor counts.
The charges thus far have been all misdemeanors, and I see the city attorney possibly even reducing a lot of these to infractions.
I showed attorney Brian Watkins a list of the charges, and he anticipates a lot of plea bargains.
What could the infraction be that they reduce it to? What have you seen in the past?
A lot of times they will reduce this down to what we call disturbing the peace infraction, a PC 415, and that's a saying that you disturb the peace.
Unlike misdemeanors, Watkins says, infractions do not stay on your court record.
An infraction is much like a speeding ticket. It doesn't go on your criminal record, subjects you to a fine, and doesn't subject you to any jail time. Even if they are convicted of a misdemeanor, they can do an expungement, and that's a process where you go and expunge the case off your record and get the charge dismissed.
UC San Diego announced Monday the arrested students will automatically face an interim suspension. Now some 200 UCSD faculty members have signed on to an open letter demanding that the suspensions be reversed.
Getting suspended from school, yes, that will stay on your academic record. Of course, and it may affect them as they go to graduate school, but kids who aren't going to graduate school, of course, an employer doesn't look at your college record. So I don't think a suspension is going to affect employment, but a criminal conviction may.
Well, something else to consider, many of these arrested students have low income, so they may end up relying on public defenders, meaning taxpayers will have to pay for their legal defense. Coming up next, we meet a man in a standoff with his insurance company. It all started when water burst through his ceiling and right into his home. Why his claim was denied. Then later on, working for kids. We'll show you the medical school training for these canine therapy dogs. And don't forget, we want to look into issues affecting you and your community. Email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are working for you to get answers after a man who lives in University City says State Farm denied his claim on his renter's insurance policy. As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, the man has to move out while damage from a leaking roof is repaired, and State Farm says it will not pay to cover his expenses.
It's the whole roof, man.
This is what it looks like when it rains on the roof above John Green's condo in UTC. And this is what it looks like now on the inside.
This is the real damage. The entire ceiling is full of mold, black mold.
John is a renter at Park Place La Jolla, a complex of 44 condo units.
This here, we collected 13 gallons of water in less than 4 hours.
The HOA's farmer's insurance is covering the exterior leak damage and plans to repair the roof at the end of the month. His landlord's traveler's insurance is covering damage on the inside. But John's State Farm insurance denied his claim for moving and displacement expenses while the repairs are taking place.
I don't know why they're denying my claim. We've never made a claim. We've been with State Farm, Bruce Anderson, for 30 years. We've never made a claim at all, not even for cars. And for them to deny us, that's just a kick in the gut.
John says as soon as State Farm heard there was mold in the ceiling, they refused to pay.
I have to leave here so that they can do the necessary construction, demolition, and I have to either go into a hotel or find a place to live month to month. That's extremely expensive.
I reached out to Amy Bach, a consumer advocate with United Policyholders.
We're getting a lot of complaints similar to this, and we are hearing that State Farm is taking an intentional hardball approach to water damage claims across the country.
John says he did file a complaint with the state insurance commissioner, but that can take 3 to 4 weeks.
He did the right thing coming to your station, and we always hope that airing this publicly will put pressure on State Farm to do the right thing.
State Farm sent me a statement saying they are committed to paying what they owe, but they can't comment on specific claims due to customer privacy. We'll keep tabs on the situation and let you know if there's any resolution. Working for you in UTC, David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Still to come, canine therapy for young hospital patients. We will introduce you to the medical school training for dogs that will hopefully be walking the halls of Rady Children's Hospital. Canine therapy is being prescribed at children's hospitals across the country, but Rady Children's Hospital does not have a resident canine therapy program. CBS 8 is partnering with Rady Children's to help bring that kind of medicine to local children. CBS 8's Abby Black shows us the med school that these dogs go through starting at birth.
Rady Children's Hospital wants to have its own professional canine therapy program. We're working for kids to find out where these doctors are going to med school. Cover. Good job.
2-year-old Yellow Lab Golden Retriever Brianna is in the beginning of her extensive 2-year training at Canine Companions in Oceanside, a nationwide nonprofit that provides service, facility, and therapy dogs at no cost to the person or organization needing them, but the cost to maintain the program is costly.
So she is cuddling and giving me a lot of love right now, but she's in working mode.
Facility dogs are specially trained for a hospital setting.
But nobody has to worry about the dog jumping on them or pulling on their leash.
The dogs are calm.
They are trained to walk politely next to someone, whether they are walking in a wheelchair, canes, crutches. There's never going to be a safety concern.
And their skills are controlled.
And revisit, because we don't want to accidentally step on an injured limb or mess with any of the wires.
Rihanna can bowl.
Push. But this is something that can be used in any sort of therapeutic intervention.
She can play cards. Rihanna can help with physical therapy, but also be a good distraction for kids to help ease the scariness of treatments.
I can get some kisses if I would like. I can tell her my deepest, darkest secrets, share what I'm concerned about, what I'm worried about, or be completely distracted from an IV going into my arm or something like that, all while it's very controlled.
Kate Incremona, the client services manager at Canine Companions in Oceanside, explains how resident dogs can rise to the challenge in a pediatric hospital.
These dogs are different from service dogs because they are working with a wide variety of different patients, people, emotions. Every client's going to have a different interaction style to meet their needs.
Canine Companions has helped train facility dogs at Children's Hospital Orange County, Children's Memorial Hermann in Texas, and Marybridge Hospital in Tacoma, Washington.
And it was like a scary experience, but right as I saw Olaf, I fell in love. He takes my stress away, and it's really nice.
This type of healing power is what's needed at Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego.
We really need the community support to make this happen.
CBS 8 is partnering with Rady Children's Hospital to raise money to start its own resident canine therapy program with 3 facility dogs. While programs like Canine Companions is free of charge to the organizations, the cost to start the program and sustain it, pay the salaries of the facilitator and vet care, among other things, is expensive.
They're an employee. They go to work Monday through Friday, full 40-hour weeks, and then they go home and get to turn off and become a pet dog once that workday's over.
Rady Children says that its child life canine specialists will be the facilitators. At Canine Companions, they pair the dogs with the handler who's deemed the best fit, and they go through a 2-week training.
Canine behavior, learning theory, how to read the dog's body language, how to understand, how to communicate with them. And we teach them everything that the dog knows. We teach them how to utilize those 45+ service commands.
These dogs are showing that they can lead the way to treat kids.
As your emotions travel down the leash, so they can feel things in a way that is pretty indescribable.
Working for kids. Abby Black, CBS 8.
Well, again, CBS 8 is a proud partner with Rady Children's Hospital to help get them their own resident canine therapy program. So we will have a give-a-thon on June 5th, but you can donate now. To learn more, go to our website, cbs8.com/community. Well, that's going to do it for us. Remember, if there is something that you would like us to look into, you can email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Thanks for joining us here on CBS 8. See you next time.